Peyton is getting her wisdom teeth taken out today. So in the studio, Kyle Unfug, Rich Barra, and me, Jaje, doing a show without Peyton. Weird. She's been put the show for now on the air with us for a year. I asked her, I said, the only thing I ask is that you please film when you come out of anesthesia.
It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, so we'll have stuff to play next week of her, but hopefully.
She was actually really nervous about that. She was saying that she feels like since Kadim's going to be with her and he's going to be the one filming her, that she was worried he was going to ask her questions that would bait her to say something that she would, like, you know, get in trouble for or something.
Yes,
like,
that's what I
you're
want
so
him to
sweet.
do.
You're fine.
I want him
You're
to
going to be
do it.
good.
It does seem like that stuff's like true serum, though. When you come out of anesthesia, you have no control over your mouth.
No control. But your mind's not really in the right place either, so who knows?
I know when
It'll be funny.
Dutch had a little procedure done, and when he came out of it, he thought he was a hip-hop star. Everything he said was in the lingo. So yesterday, we dropped the podcast yesterday because it's in May, it's Skin Cancer Awareness Month. So we had a couple doctors in here, right? We were talking about the Arizona Skin Cancer Foundation or whatever organization they're with, and all the pros and cons and what you need to do to be careful, right? I mean, it's really scary out in the sun in Arizona, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a problem that's getting worse and worse. And they were even saying that, like, it used to be something that people thought, like, oh, older people get skin cancer. But they're like, there's so many people that are in their 20s that are coming in like early 20s that are getting skin cancer.
My son Jake and his buddy just were hanging out in the backyard with their shirts off the other day, and he's sunburned. And after we met with listened to this podcast, I was kind of like, oh man, you don't want to do that, right? I got paranoid. But it's like, let's just say it's a 20-minute podcast. It's the Afterwards podcast. And in the podcast, it was so serious, I started to kind of like, I wanted to inject some humor in the podcast. So I mentioned, I thought I had a growth in a private area for me, right? And we laughed, chortle. And then as I was walking the doctor out, he goes, hey, send me a picture of that growth. And I was like, okay. So I go in the bathroom and I take a picture of it. And I was like, whoa, this doesn't look like anything normal because I'd never seen it. I didn't, I just felt it. And then he texts me back and goes, you need to get that checked immediately. You need to get biopsied. Come to my office at 4:30 and we're going to do a biopsy at 4:30. And I was like,
scary word,
I was
biopsy.
Like, whoa, dude. Whoa, hold on a minute. I go, maybe it's a bad picture, you know?
I was kind of just joking around. And the fact you say you want to slice it off, that's scary.
And that's in a tender area. Like, I don't know if you could just slice it like.
Yeah.
So anyway, when I go work out in the afternoon, it's weird, but it's at my doctor's office. And it's a woman, Carrie Bordinko. She's amazing. And I texted her. I said, hey, do you have a minute today to look at something for me? And she's like, what's up? And I go, I have this growth. And I sent her pictures, right? And she starts giving me all these medical terms for what it could be, long words. I'm like, oh my God. She goes, you need to come in. Let me take a look at it. And then we'll set you up for a biopsy. Now, she doesn't know that the other doctor also wants to do the biopsy. So I go in, I work out. And all I'm doing is paranoid thinking about the doctor examining me because where it is, I'd literally have to be on like an OBGYN table for them to look at this growth. Do you know what I'm saying? To get the visual?
I'm actually surprised. I mean, I know you're really close with her, but I'm actually surprised you'd even said anything to her because even in the podcast, you're like, how would you bring that up to like maybe like a woman? It might be a little more uncomfortable. And you already had Dr. Lowe saying, come on in.
Because Dr. Lowe wanted to see me and he was way off of Bell Road at 4:30.
Okay, there you go.
And I was kind of, and he's like, come
bubble.
over here at 4:30. And I'm taking my kids. I was taking them to Cave Creek yesterday to work out. And I was just kind of trying to figure out how I would fit it all in. And then is he really going to cut me there? And second opinion. So sure enough, after the workout, she is sick, right? So she's under a blanket in this room and she's sitting in a chair. And I walk in and I'm like, hey, you ready to take a look at this? She goes, yeah. And I go, are you the patient or am I the patient? And she's like, she puts on gloves. And then it's just terrible, right?
It's gotta be the worst.
I'm like, okay, because I've gone to Cancun with her 3 times. Like, we're like friends. So I'm like, before I go, this is weird for me because you're like a doctor, but you're also like my friend. And she's like, just show me, right? I'm like, she has these blue gloves on. I'm like, oh God. So I show her and she goes, it's skin tag. I'm like, what? It's not. She goes, it's a skin tag, whatever. You're fine. Don't worry about it. Like, so I want to high five her. I'm so excited. And I go to high five her, and I was holding my junk in my hands to move things around for her, and I go to high five her, but she takes off her glove, right? And then I'm like, should you not? This is happening so fast. So I go to high five her. She takes off her glove. She high fives me. And I go, oh, you took off your glove after I touched my junk. See my, do you know what I mean?
Just make it more awkward.
I know, so awkward. It just kept going more awkward and more awkward and more awkward.
Let the moment go.
It was just awkward after awkward after awkward. And then she was like, you're fine, you're fine. So then I text Dr. Lowe, and I'm like, hey, my doctor looked at it and said that I'm fine. It's a skin tag. And he sends me a screenshot of what I sent him, and he goes, this here, are you sure you don't want to come in? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. I don't want to come in. Because I don't want to drive all the way over there.
So nobody offered to take it off or clip it off or cut it off?
She said you can take it off if you want or not. But I know I have to go to a dermatologist anyway for my normal annual appointment. When I do, I have to show them. And there's a team. There's a team of those people.
I just happen to be looking for some life hacks, and I think you can take skin tags off with some duct tape and some, and some vodka. I think we can just do it right here.
Dental floss, too, I think.
Dental floss is another one.
Yeah.
Tie it around.
I don't want to cut off the wrong thing.